any of you listening, if you, especially if you have 0 videos on your channel, your first video is not going to get views, period. It's not. Your first 10 are not going to get views. I can very confidently say that. So stop sitting there and thinking for months and months on end, and just get to work and start uploading. Like, all you need to do, this applies to people who have not uploaded videos but have dreams of being a YouTuber, is make 100 videos and improve something every time. Do that. And then on your 101st video, we'll start talking, like maybe you can get some views.
In a recent 2025 study, it goes on to discover that only 8% of people who actually start YouTube channels are eventually able to get monetized, and that is to obtain the 4,000 watch hours and the 1,000 subscribers. Now, trust me, the process of becoming successful on YouTube or joining the 8% is extremely difficult. However, with the right approach, with the right process, it becomes very, very easier for you to enjoy the process of creating content and then editing and posting them on YouTube altogether. So in this video, I'll be sharing 3 things that I've gathered so far. This is my 19th video, and I feel like it is necessary for me to record that experience and then share it also with small content creators like you probably watching this video. So the first reason why you shouldn't quit YouTube, especially, for starters like us, is that it takes time for the YouTube algorithm to familiarize itself with your content creation. And mind you, I've heard several creators go on to say that, the algorithm is against me. It's very difficult breaking through the YouTube algorithm. You need to approach the algorithm, in my opinion, as, a first date with an introvert. What that simply means is that you need to identify what you need to do in order for the YouTube algorithm to also help you or push your videos towards the right audience. Because the algorithm has got just one job to do, and that is to match your videos to the target audience or the people that are more likely to resonate with your content. So it takes time for the algorithm to also be able to achieve this goal at the end of the year. Now, mind you, there are several people within your niche also creating content, and then the algorithm has been familiarized with their content creation over a period of time, so it makes it easier for them to just push those videos. However, YouTube has come out this year to clear the air on small content creators, and now it's given us a competitive edge in that it's pushing videos from small content creators to viewers out there. So now we are in a much more better position to get the views and to get the followerships, because we wouldn't have to compete with the big or the successful YouTube content creators like the Mr. Beast, the Ali Abdaals and all that. What YouTube is doing is that it is also promoting small content creators. And I think this is the best time that you need to take advantage of these things and never give up, because YouTube is on your side. And once the algorithm actually is able to familiarize itself with your content, then eventually it will just keep matching it easily to the target audience. And that is a reason why you shouldn't give up. Secondly, what people tend to do is that they see YouTube as a side hustle. So they bring the whole hustle culture with their 9 to 5 into the YouTube content creation journey. Now, mind you, I'm not saying that you shouldn't be ambitious. What I'm saying is that you don't have to be stressed with a YouTube content creation journey, because the much more frictional it becomes for you to create, edit, and then post videos, the much more difficult or the more you lose interest in the entire process altogether. So Ali Abdaal comes in here to say that in order for you to become successful in anything that you do, you need to identify some form of joy in the process. Don't focus just on the YouTube goal. For example, in my case, I've got the goal of shooting and then uploading 100 videos as at the end of the year. As it stands now, I've been able to do 18 videos. This is the 19th video. And the truth is, it makes it much more easier because I'm able to track the process. And then also, I've incorporated some form of fun into the entire content creation journey. I don't hold myself too hard, trying so hard to grind, scripting, remembering everything verbatim, making the process much more cumbersome and all that. What I do is that I make it easy. I flow. I try as much as possible to be myself behind the camera. And that is what brings me joy. So I don't see the content creation journey as another job, or, where I would have to get so serious and then put all the effort and the energy and everything in there. You sit behind the camera and then you flow. You speak to the camera. the joy and everything. Sometimes I keep my wife around and she inspires me so much. It's easier for me to record videos. Why? Because I've incorporated some form of fun or some form of joy in the process. So it's not become more or less like, another job for me. It's become much more like a very, very fun-filled process that also drives me towards the attainment of one more goal at the end of the year. So you might as well also find a joy or find something that actually inspires you or makes it much more easier or helps you to eradicate any other friction in the process of your content creation journey. And I believe that if you're able to incorporate that form of joy or that form of fun into the content creation journey, it would inspire you, it would motivate you, and make you feel less stressed when creating content. And then that would eventually inspire you towards the attainment of your goal, which is monetization on YouTube. The third and the last reason why you shouldn't give up on YouTube is the reason is simple. YouTube actually takes time, just like any other thing out there. Think about it. You didn't just go through school within a couple of months to get a degree. You have to stay through school, write several tests for 4 years before you're eventually awarded a degree. So what that simply means is that you need to approach the process like you're doing an experiment altogether. For me, this is more or less like an experiment. I've taken my mind off the whole monetization process or having to make an extra buck off the back of YouTube or seeing this as a side hustle altogether. What I actually say is that I'm just experimenting. I'm just shooting and editing and then uploading 100 videos at the end of the year 2025. What would happen at the end of the year? Is it likely that I would get monetized or not? If I'm not, fine, I just go on to put more effort in there because there are several other YouTubers out there, like Mr. Beast, for instance. His advice is that you first of all have to do 100 videos and post them on YouTube. And afterwards, you can go on to talk about, becoming successful on YouTube. Several good things in life actually take time. And that is why you need to exercise patience and stay consistent to your goal of recording and then uploading videos altogether. Now, I love this theory so much, and that is the bamboo theory. And what the bamboo theory goes on to say that initially, when the bamboo is planted, it takes 5 years in all for it to spring up. But within the first 4 years of the bamboo's growth, you're likely not to see anything happening. And it is simply because in the first 4 years of its initial stages of growth, the bamboo actually spreads out its root, and the root actually gathers enough water, and the bamboo gathers sap. And then in the 5th year, of course, within 6 weeks, you're likely to see the bamboo grow to 9 feet tall, springing into the air. This is how you should approach the content creation journey. It isn't easy. However, what you need to know is that every single input, every single video that you shoot and then upload goes on to add on to it. And that would be the last straw that breaks the camel's back. James Clear, in his famous book, The Atomic Habit, goes on to say that in order for you to become successful in life or in anything that you set your mind on to achieve at the end of the day, you need to do one thing. You need to master the law of the aggregation of marginal gains. And what he simply goes on to propose is that you need to improve 1% of the time. And he believes that that single improvement over a stipulated time actually goes on to pile on, and that would eventually make you successful at the end of the year. So in the process of achieving your ultimate goal of becoming successful on YouTube, what you need to know is that every single input actually counts. For example, initially, I didn't even know anything about video editing. I didn't know anything about thumbnail creation. I didn't know anything about, writing a very catchy title and all that. But over time, as I record more videos, I get better every single time, and I improve 1% of the time every single time that I post a video. This is my 19th video. Of course, if you were to compare it to the very first video that I shot on YouTube, you'd see a very massive difference between the two. It is simply because anytime that you tend to put in more effort, anytime you tend to focus on improving small and then making all the marginal contributions, eventually everything just piles on. And then because of the law of compounding, it becomes much more easier for you to become successful. So this is the reason why you shouldn't give up on your content creation journey.